What does a client do when they're in a mental health crisis? And I think for many, many years, they would go to the hospital. Like, people didn't know what to do. So it's like, oh, I'm feeling suicidal, or I'm hearing voices and I don't know what to do. Like, what do you do when that happens?
There really aren't any mental health services other than what the county provides, and there's such a need that the state and the county all really got on board, and the city of Savage and really advocated for additional mental health services in this area. The hope and the dream for this program is to really serve residents around the Twin Cities, but really focusing on the county of Scott County.
Ultimately, we want our clients to get the help that they need. And so partnering and like referring out is a big part of what Guild does.
It really wasn't that long ago that people struggling with the kind of symptoms we see, the kind of diagnoses we see, went to a hospital or an institution, and it wasn't uncommon that they would be there 2 years.
How can we help in that journey? We're here to help you set a solid foundation. Whatever that looks like, I want your foundation to be the cement, the most solid that you can have, and then you can build from there.
We really want to be able to allow them to heal and grow in their recovery.
The idea here is that we're going to teach you lots of different strategies, but you have to find what works for you. And there is no like one size fits all solution for any of that. So the more they've got in their toolbox, definitely the better prepared they are.
Ever since I was a young girl, I knew I was different. I have always felt some sort of sadness in me. When I was 16 would be the first time I attempted suicide. No one could figure out how to help me because at the time I didn't even want to help myself. I was so down in that hole that I didn't know how to get out. I was diagnosed with schizoaffective disorder, and that's when I started making a little bit of progress. But my mom was diagnosed with stage 4 lung cancer. I got a call the second week of October saying it's her time. And I went home and I spent the last week of her life by her side, and I held her hand as she passed away. I got a job, and this was during COVID 2020. It was stressful.
During COVID, mental health doesn't take a pause. And in fact, it's only exacerbated many symptoms in individuals and the experience that people are experiencing with isolation and symptoms and access to services. And so it's actually caused a greater need for these services.
I hated my life at that point. I felt worthless, and the voices were taunting me, telling me, what's the point of living? I took 2 bottles of Tylenol and a bottle of ibuprofen, and I secondarily cut my arm open. And I purposely did it that day because that was the day my nurse was gonna come in. I didn't want my family to find me dead. I went in the emergency room, and then I was shipped off to Prairie St. John's in North Dakota for the psych ward. And I was there for a month and a half, and my social worker searched all over to try to find me a place to go, and she found somewhere 45 minutes from home, Guild Crisis Recovery Center. I came here thinking it wasn't going to help. Nothing helped before. Why was this going to help? And the first night I was here, I was quiet. I was just observing, and I was struggling at the same time. And it was Lonnie who came up to me and asked me, "How are you?" And I could see that she cared.
So Abby was special. When she came in, she was pretty shy, kind of to herself. And to watch her transform in the short time that she's here, it was remarkable.
All the material that was being taught here, I have heard thousands of times before at other treatment centers. And they were able to tell it to me in a way that I haven't heard before, a way that I could connect more with. And that's when it really started to click.
We learned she has a very infectious laugh. She just brings a smile to your face.
When they played the Titanic song on the recorder, it was really funny. It made me laugh really hard because it was so off tone. That was when I felt like I connected with everybody, like I could be myself. I wasn't ashamed of who I was no more. I realized that I was human and that all my mental illness told me was lies. And that people do want to help me, that people do care about me, that people do like me. And I know that if I ever would struggle again with my mental health diagnoses, that I could come here because this was a place that really changed my life.
The reality of recovery is that not every client is ready to make those changes that they need. So we see people come back.
We know that recovery isn't in a straight line and people are going to hit road bumps. And we allow the space for those kind of things to happen here so that we can work through them.
Every field has its own challenges, but I also think the field of mental health is so rewarding and so humbling because you really are walking with an individual during their most vulnerable times of life.
People still know Guild South, and they're going to continue to refer to Guild South because we have, such quality staff.
I hear that a lot, and it feels good to hear that even coming from social workers saying that they hear a lot of good things coming from Guild South and how a lot of clients just want referrals to Guild.
I believe that this place, this building, this staff has motivated people who didn't think they would be ready, and we changed that throughout their stay.
I think we can all have a little hope in our lives, and particularly here, because we've seen it and we've seen clients come in when they're at their darkest times and their most vulnerable times and leave here a changed person, and I think that gives us hope.
you.